Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Skinned Deep. So I just randomly found out about this movie. I was browsing Tubi. I added it to my list probably a few months ago at this point. So yeah, I was just browsing Tubi and I saw the cover and I was like, wow, that's, an interesting cover because you had this one of the main villains was on the cover and he's like this monster looking guy with these crazy sharp metal teeth and like green skin, and he's called the Surgeon General in the movie, but he's like on the cover of the movie and I'm like, oh, like that's kind of like a sick monster. This looks like a cool kind of weird horror movie. Let me add this to my list. So, I added it to my list. I watched the trailer. Once I saw the trailer, well, actually, initially, once I, read the little plot synopsis, I thought, hey, that seems kind of interesting. And then I realized Warwick Davis was in it. I'm like, hey, Warwick Davis, he's a stand-up guy. I like him. I gotta check this out. And I watched the trailer. The trailer was like, oh my goodness, this movie is like crazy. It seems funny. It seems weird. I gotta check it out. So yeah, I've wanted to check this out ever since I randomly found out about it, and I'm glad I checked it out. But here's the deal. Okay, there was a lot that I did like about this movie, and this movie had a lot going for it. But to be 100% honest, overall, I was not really a fan of this movie, even though there were quite a few elements that I liked. Like the overall movie just didn't do it for me. So there's my my general consensus, my overall thoughts of the movie. Now I'm gonna get into the plot summary. So you have this family, and they're driving. They get a flat tire, and they're trying to find help. This older woman, she offers to help them out. She's like, you know what, my son can fix the tire, and while he's fixing the tire, you can stay at our house, have dinner. So yeah, right off the bat, this family that the main family stays with, they're extremely creepy. And then basically, very early on in the movie, all of like the family consists of, you have a mother, a father, you have a daughter, like an older daughter, and a younger son. So basically, very early on in the movie, everyone in the family besides the older daughter is killed, and then this deranged family of like mutant monster psychopaths, they basically hold this girl hostage, and then they just continuously kill people throughout the movie. So that is the basic plot summary. Now I'm gonna get into some stuff that I liked about the movie first. So something that I have to mention is like the production design in this movie was so good. All of the sets, like this was like a lower budget movie. I think the budget was around somewhere around like $600,000, that's nothing. But they put so much time and effort into dressing all the sets. Like all of the sets, all of like the background is always there's always something interesting in the background. It's not like you're just looking at like a white wall or some plain room. Like whoever did the production design for this movie, they put so much time in addressing the sets. Some standout moments where you can like really see the production design are there. Like I said, this we follow this like main girl who's held captive, and they keep her in this room, and it's completely covered in newspapers, like the floor, the walls, the ceiling, it's all completely covered in newspapers. That was really like a cool looking background. Early on when they go in the house is all creepy and there's like all these wires hanging from the ceiling and all these old radios and stuff like that. I thought that looked good. Later on they go into this, I believe it's like maybe like the basement area of their house, but it's almost like it's like the area where there's this guy called the Creator, which is basically just this like headless bodybuilder guy that I think created all these like monstrous psychopaths. I don't know. This movie's hard to follow, but anyways, when they're in that basement area, it's like wherever it's like the Creator's living quarters, and I don't know. It's like this basement laboratory type area where there's all these like glass, almost like aquarium-esque like structures with all these like weird little like monster things in them and body parts, and they're all like lit with like green lighting, and there's like body parts everywhere, and there's like this one like dead guy hanging from the wall, and he's got his whole like rib cage, not rib case. What even is that? He's got his whole rib cage exposed, like, and then later on in the movie when there's like the main girl is walking out of the house, like there's like this exterior shot of the house, and it's like this like all these white walls, which is it's like covered in tools. It's like covered in murder weapons. There's like saws and knives and everywhere, like lined up on the walls of the exterior of the house. So the production design was fantastic in this movie. It was like visually this movie looked great. There was always something engaging like on the screen or in the background, so that was cool. The character design was fantastic. There was like three main kind of creature characters. You had, well, actually no, two main ones, because like Warwick Davis's character, he just looks like a normal guy, but he's like funny. He just like throws plates at people. But anyways, there's this guy. He's called Brain, and he has like this enormous brain. His head is probably, I don't know, 3 feet by like 4 feet of just brain. His character design was cool, and then like the main villain is this guy called Surgeon General, and he's like this like green monster type looking dude, and he has like these giant jaws with these metal jaws with these like silver, well, not silver, but with these like metal fangs. So yeah, all the creature, like not the creature design, the character design in this movie is great, and just all the practical effects in this movie are great. There is some CGI, but it's not like bad CGI. They use CGI when they need to use CGI in this movie, but the practical effects in this movie are fantastic. And you know what? The kills in this movie are great too. Like there's just, you got some great throat slits. You got some kids getting sawed in half or cut in half. You got some old people exploding. You got their heads exploding. You got their arms exploding off. It's all practical. You got blood splattering everywhere. The kills in this movie are fantastic, which I didn't even really expect. But the kills were amazing. And you know, after I said all this, you might be like, well, I thought you said you didn't really like the movie. Like I said, there was a lot that I did like about the movie. Like visually, there was a lot that I liked, but overall, okay, this movie, there was like barely any story. Even for, I don't know if you would really categorize this as a slasher, but you know, if you're comparing it to like, you know, the slasher genre or even just the horror genre in general, you know, horror movies and slasher movies can sometimes get a pass with not having that much story. They don't call for that much story. This movie like barely had any story, and the lead girl, I just didn't care about her at all. She was I mean, like she was really like not a good actor, even for like a B horror movie. Like she was like really bad, and she was just like not likable, not engaging. She was just like bland and boring, and I didn't care about her at all. She just like had no screen presence. Um, and then I feel like this movie kind of it went all out in the first act. Like when initially when the family died right away, I was like, wait, are all the leads dying like right away? Like what's going on? And it was really cool and an action packed sequence when like the family's being killed and then they're like being chased through the forest. It was action packed and exhilarating, but it was like the movie went too crazy too soon, and then that first act was action packed, but I feel like the movie kind of peaked in the beginning, and then there was still action and there was action in the third act, but it never got to that same level that it was at in the beginning, which is kind of unfortunate. And it was weird how they just killed the family so early. Like they still kept that one girl as like the lead or the like final girl or whatever, but I would have liked there to be like more tension and suspense and maybe like draw it out a little bit more. Like it felt like stuff just happened too quick and they just like threw away all these characters, and then now like what are we left with? We're left with this girl, and now like these random people that we don't care about are being killed. Not that I cared about the initial family because I didn't get enough time to care about them, but yeah, that was like another problem. I just like when people were dying in the movie, like I didn't even really get a chance to like care about the characters. So I don't know, that messed me up. And then yeah, I mean that was pretty much like the main things that I disliked about the movie are there was barely any story. um, I was not a fan of like the lead actress. I just didn't, I don't know, I just couldn't really care about her. And then yeah, I thought the family died too early and the movie was crazy too early, but never really like it was really action packed in the beginning, but then it kind of went downhill after that, and it never lived up to that same level of intensity, um, you know, that there was in the beginning. So yeah, those are my main reasons why I didn't like the movie. And then just a couple random points here. Like I said, you got Warwick Davis in this movie, and his whole character is called Plates, and he just throws like dinner plates at people, and he hates old people, and he throws plates in the faces of elderly individuals and kills them. And that's my type of humor. I thought that was really funny. So Warwick Davis's character overall was really funny, and I thought his performance was pretty darn good. I feel like Warwick Davis, no matter what he's in, he always even if like the movie isn't great, he always comes through with a fun or interesting performance. And I feel like no matter what movie Warwick Davis is in, like he always goes hard. He always takes it serious. So his character was wacky and crazy and really funny. I mean, he's throwing dinner plates at people, killing them. He's obsessed with plates, and he has a vendetta against the elderly. I mean, he's like fighting. He was like in this field of cacti, and he's like fighting this old man with like a limp, with like a, I don't know. This guy can barely walk, and there's like some of the chase sequences in this. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent, but some of the chase sequences in this movie are funny because like, you'll either like have a chase sequence with like a 80-year-old man, and you're like, this is crazy. Or there's this one chase sequence with this one dude who was like 350, 400 pounds. So just like, I don't know. Usually you know, you wouldn't think like I'm like, how is this a challenge? You know, like I forgot. Yeah, yeah. The older guy was chasing Warwick Davis's character Plates, and I'm like he's never gonna catch him, or maybe. Oh yeah, no, he was chasing Warwick Davis's character. I was gonna say was Plates chasing him, but no, he was chasing him. I'm like, how is he ever gonna catch him? You know, this guy's got like a bum leg. He's like 80 years old, and then later on in the I mean, no, earlier in the movie, the character Surgeon General is chasing this like 350-pound man, and I'm like, how is this even? How is this chase going on so long? Like, how is he not catching this dude? Like, this dude can straight like sprint. Like, I'm like, that's like the fastest 350-pound man I've ever seen in my life. But anyways, yeah, there's some funny chase sequences. But yeah, back to what I was talking about. You know, I thought Warwick Davis was great, and I thought his character just throwing plates at old people and killing them was super funny. Awesome stuff. You know, that's another thing that I did like about the movie, and like what kind of was one of the reasons why like I wanted to check it out after seeing the trailer. Like, this movie was weird AF. You know, even though it wasn't the most entertaining movie, and you know, it wasn't that engaging. Like, there are a lot of weird and wacky moments. So, you know, I'm glad I at least checked it out once, because I like movies that get weird with it. So this movie definitely got weird with it. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is this. It barely has anything to do with the movie, but you know, a lot of horror movies have downer endings, and this movie kind of had a downer ending. So, you know, we don't really know the fate of the main girl. Maybe it's, you know, maybe she is in trouble, right? So basically, the end credits are just her screaming non-stop. Like, I mean, I didn't watch the whole credits, but you know, like I was just like laying in my bed, and it was like a couple minutes. I don't just turn the movie off right away. I'm like, you know, I gotta process it for a sec, or like maybe I was just being lazy, or I was tired and I just had the credits going. But it was like the weirdest thing. Like, maybe if she screamed once, we would get the idea. But she's screaming nonstop, and then she keeps like fluctuating the way she's screaming. And I don't know if I'm doing a good job of explaining this, but I feel like it was like the weirdest choice for some for like some end credits. Like one scream, cool. Two screams, cool. Three screams, you're pushing it. This girl screamed like, I don't know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 times. Like, she's just screaming on repeat. It's too many screams. So, I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I thought I would mention it. But that's the last little thing I wanted to mention. So, in terms of my recommendation, even though Skin Deep has some fantastic kills, great practical effects, cool character design, and great production design, everything that this movie offers is like visual. Like, there's some great visuals, but like everything in this movie is cool, like surface level. You know, like I don't, other than that stuff, I don't care about the story. Like, there's nothing going on in the story. The movie's like kind of boring, like at times. I don't care about the characters. And then the movie, like, it goes crazy in the first act, but then it just doesn't go really anywhere from there, and it doesn't live up to that initial hype that it builds up in the first act. So overall, I'm glad I checked this out, but would I recommend it? I would not recommend it. If you could find some, like a clip compilation on YouTube, I would check out like a highlights reel of some of the crazy wacky clips in this movie. But this movie is like close to like an hour and 40 minutes. I would not waste your time. Do not check this movie out. It's not worth it. So that's been my review and my recommendation for the movie Skin Deep. So I'm gonna head out here. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.